Well, hi guys. How are you? I hope things are okay for you. Anyway, I've got an interesting article here. This is from a collection from October 5th, 2016. This is about Ben Katchor, the artist of New York, the caricaturist of New York City, and he gives a dreamlike quality to his subject, and he evokes visions of old time New York from the 60s, 50s, 40s. This is Ben Katchor. He's 64 years old. He was at the time 64 years old, October 2016. And I have a couple of his collections of comics also over here you can take a look at. So anyway, let's look at the article first. Okay. All right, let's take a look at it. This is, here we go. October 5th, 2016. Urban Decay and longing for the New York of old. Katchor's unique vision of city life. Scott A. Rosenberg. New York cartoonist Ben Katchor is one of those unique characters who can only exist in New York City. He is a winner of the MacArthur Genius Grant and has worked on critically acclaimed comic strips such as Julius Knipple, Real Estate Photographer, and The Cardboard Valise. He's written musicals, and he's a professor at Parsons School of Design. Knipple, perhaps his seminal work, began in 1988 as a weekly cartoon strip in the Jewish Daily Forward and other alternative weeklies. I remember his strip in the Jewish Daily Forwards. That was very unique, very interesting to see. Anyway, it follows the title character as he chronicles small business in a city that is a dreamlike riff on NYC. I tried to invent this city where in every corner you'd stumble upon this revelation, an incredible invention someone came up with, Katchor says. Designing a coffee shop in a way it has never been designed before. The strip was collected in the book Cheap Novelties, The Pleasures of Urban Decay, in 1991. And that book is now getting a snazzy new hardcover edition, which Katchor 64 will be signing at 192 Books tomorrow. Well, this is 3 years old, so that we don't have to take literally. Anyway, the cartoonist says that he wants people who read the book to ponder the potential for a unique, wondrous city, instead of the homogenized strip mall that New York too often resembles these days. It's a kind of speculative fiction, and the purpose of that is for people to put the book down and say, why isn't it like this? Katchor says. Katchor says it's all a dream. Somebody had these dreams to make gigantic chains of indistinguishable coffee shops. That was somebody's life goal. So you can come up with other goals. That's what I'd call them. That's what I'd like them to come away with. The book is filled with poetic cartoons about hot dog joints and odd little storefronts advertising joke headlines printed while you wait. The author has no interest in chain stores on every corner. This large scale chain operation tends to reflect this incredible poverty of the imagination, Katchor says. It's like they figured it out once, and now they just want to replicate it all over the world. That makes it boring to walk around the city. Katchor has a fascinating thought process that inspires his work. He wonders whether today's youth will have a, quote, desperate search, as he calls it, for the tremendous variety in every Starbucks. That mentality makes the comics collected in cheap novelties timeless and intriguing. Even if you never experienced the dearly departed New York City that inspired the strips, Katchor's vision transports you there. Quote, back when I started Knipple, I wanted to talk about this kind of dream city that was really in this perfect state of equilibrium, he says. All these things, these crackpot things, could go on. A newspaper about the dream life of the city. Every other corner would be this big, all-night cafeteria. Everybody's dream could be manifest in a storefront. And that kind of a city would be really interesting. So this is Cheap Novelties, The Pleasures of Urban Decays. This was 3 years ago. So so this was the book that he made it into. He made it originally in 1991, and in 2016, it got a hardcover version of it, like a nice upscale hardcover version of this book. They're often this is like a softcover book. We can take a look at this later. Anyway, this is one of his comic strips. The small print below explains nothing. Welcome home, Frankie. This is a Julius Knipple strip from Cheap Novelties, The Pleasures of Urban Decay by Ben Katchor. These stories can exist only as headlines. Joke headlines printed while you wait. Published by a man in a dirty stall next door to the Ruchan Theater. And in a print run of one. A print run of one. Here, this is The Beauty Supply District by Julius Knipple. You can see some of his work. I highly recommend this book. These books, they're very good. They can transport you into a different time and place. Here, this one is Julius Knipple, real estate photographer. Around the 25th of each month, a sense of impermanence pervades the city. I wasn't finished with that coffee. Estimators from well-known moving companies reduce human lives to their cubic square footage. We can fit you in a 28-footer. The number of steps up to a lobby entrance becomes a determining factor in one's future. Otherwise, healthy individuals develop a morbid fascination with strapping tape and padded blankets. People are forced to calculate in US dollars the sentimental value of large, unwieldy pieces of furniture. Familiar bedroom views are forsaken without a thought. The eyes of the middle class turn for comfort towards the unchanging profile of the street curb. That 5,700-mile-long monument commemorating the separation of sidewalk from gutter. Anyway, it goes on. Very interesting. Tales of the city. It brings you back to an old New York, an old-time New York. This is Julius Knipple, real estate photographer. Okay, anyway, I recommend these books. They're very good to read and to look over when you have some free time. So, okay, thanks a lot for watching, and we hope to speak to you again soon. Take care. Thank you. See you soon. Thanks.